and went down there and got with chilling with with my people or whatever, and being the guy that I am and tough and standing up, I went down there, I got stabbed 5 times.
This is an exciting day. This is an exciting day.
Bro?
My brother,
Yes.
my brother,
Yes.
it has been, what am I, 19, 20 years?
It's been about, 2 decades.
Good God, Shawn Bullard.
Almost
20 years.
Yeah.
Shawn Bullard, athlete,
Yeah.
TV star.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, I will say it. TV star, TV personality, real estate mogul.
Thank you, that's being generous.
To me, you are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you are. Real estate mogul, entrepreneur, new product line. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, and probably a ton of other things, right? Massive car enthusiast, as we see behind us, right? We've got the Ferrari Roma on set.
Yes.
And you've owned several others. We'll talk a little bit more about that, right? So welcome to Wheels and Wealth.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, man. So for those who don't know you, really your primary business, to my knowledge, is real estate development.
Yes.
Correct. And we've got some other businesses, but at Wheels and Wealth, as I tell all of our guests, this is not, you are going to be motivated. This channel is for car enthusiasts and for people who want to learn about business and they want to know what they need to do to win beyond being ambitious, right? Because they already are those things. Beyond being hungry, beyond having drive. The wealth that we need you to share is not necessarily monetary, but in terms of the wealth of your experience, your knowledge, everything that you have to offer in terms of what you've learned by coming this far in your field, and that's what we want you to share with us today. In addition to your passion for amazingly beautiful, preferably black cars. Right?
Absolutely.
So for those of us who don't know you, tell us about you. Has it always been real estate? Catch us up. Take us from high school to now. Where did you see yourself, making your money? What happened? Let's get the story. You have an incredible one.
Yeah, I'm born and raised Philadelphia with North Carolina twist because all my family's from North Carolina.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So mom and dad came up here. They had my older brother and me. And in 1981, a star was born. It's on June 19th. It's crazy that my birthday now is a national holiday, Juneteenth. I never knew it meant so much, but it's Black Independence Day. It's really, because that's the day we, as Black people, we truly got independence. But I was born in West Oak Lane. Lived in West Oak Lane, 2-parent household. That's like a throwback nowadays. And grew up with hardcore values. My dad worked 3 jobs. My mom worked for United Cerebral Palsy, where you had people that were handicapped and mental challenges. That's where I learned, to treat everybody the same and not to never look down on people. And at that point, I grew up, with my friends and in the streets, and we sold drugs, we did certain little things or whatever. So I was always around those like hustlers, and I saw the money. I never got too deep into it because sports was one of my motivations, and also my upbringing with my parents. My dad was strict.
Okay.
But sports helped keep me out of a lot of trouble. But I was always around it, being around my friends and the hustlers, and I had friends I grew up in a good block, nice neighborhood, but I also had friends get killed a block up the street and things of that sort. So I knew it was real, but you were taught, which a lot of the generations, I guess Z or whatever today aren't really.
I don't know.
Yeah, they don't really have it. We were taught to go after what you want, that you had to work for, you had to hustle for, you had to have the gift of gab. And I learned from some of the best in Philadelphia about, hustling and going after things. And I remember I was privileged to go to Catholic school from first grade all the way to 12th, so I had a good education, but it was inner city kids in Catholic school. So a lot of times we brought some of the street stuff to school.
Yeah, I grew up in Catholic school too.
Okay.
All the way up until
8th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty much from kindergarten to 8th grade, I was a Catholic school boy.
Catholic school boy, right?
Yeah.
And you go to Catholic school, you think like, all right, it's Catholic school.
Nah,
but
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fights, you know what I mean? Your tie's
100%.
gonna get ripped off and
All of that.
And one of the good things, though, I mean, the girls, they had the skirts on or whatever.
And
you
they would
learn.
roll them up, hype
Roll
them
them up. They was thoughts before thoughts was even a term.
Oh, man.
Ferrari Roma, they say, the Roma is if Aston Martin and Ferrari had a baby. I keep saying that, and this is what you got. So it's a sports car. It's also a grand touring car.
Okay.
It's 612 horsepower.
Whew.
I forget the amount of torque that it has.
Carbon ceramic brakes, 6-piston
Yes.
Ferrari brakes, Brembos, beautiful. 4 pistons on the back. Love the wheels.
20-inch wheels in the front, 21s in the back. It's a quad, dual exhaust.
Quad dualies.
It's
Now, do the taillights come tinted like this from the factory?
everything on here is stock, straight from the factory.
Wow. God,
I
look
don't
at
never
that.
touch my cars.
The back of this car,
The back, the booty on it is amazing.
the ass is ridiculous.
Yeah, the booty on it is amazing. So it's just.
Oh my
it's
God,
just
look at the
very
hips.
sexy. Yeah.
Whew.
I was a 4-way athlete and I was a chubby kid in grade school.
That's hard to believe.
I was a chubby kid that got, try to talk to a girl. I remember one time, man, I was doing hide and go seek with one of the girls I had a crush on in my neighborhood.
How old were you?
I was probably like 10.
Okay.
I don't know. And,
This must be very interesting for you to remember.
I remember. I'm 41 now, I remember. And she was like, I was like, yeah, I want to hide with you because I was trying to get close to her and hide with her and get to know her or something. She was like, ew, Sean, your calves shake when you run. I'm still traumatized by it. I still remember it. Right? It's just moments like that. Moments like that. Moments like that, man, you help shape me to be, because I tell people, because I'm big into fitness, even after playing football for so long, I'm still into fitness. She was like, no, your calves gonna shake when you run. And that was just a thing. That was just a thing.
Oh my God, that is crazy. I'm laughing because no one told me my calves shook, but I was a fat kid. I was fat. My teeth were bad. I had a gap when I was younger.
Oh, wow.
I had rider, yeah. And I went to Catholic school. And, I want to say once I got to probably like 3rd grade, predominantly, Caucasian schools where I was a true minority. And, you like women, you like girls. It's just a part of, or you like who you like in this day and age, but it's a part of growing up. And I remember, the girls, they wouldn't want to kiss me, or, it was like you're fat, or, you're too this or you're too that. And
Girls,
it's like,
especially young,
Oh,
can be
man.
mean, man.
oh, man.
They can.
How much of that are we harboring today still?
You know what? Those moments, you either at a young age you're gonna become a narcissist, or you can pick your ego. You don't even have an ego at that time. You just got self-esteem.
Oh, yeah, mine was crushed.
Yours was crushed.
Mine was
right?
crushed, yeah. I didn't start getting some swag about myself until 7th grade, but in 8th grade, that's when it really started happening. My sister was working, and she would bless me with sneakers. They started dressing me appropriately. By
dress
9th
game
grade, it was better. 10th grade, it was strong. 11th grade, I was a beast.
He was a beast.
Yeah, I didn't even used to like my name, believe it or not.
It's
I wanted to
always
be
like
named
that.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, Khalil, imagine growing Khalil in predominantly non-black schools, and I hated my name.
That's
I was
crazy.
so
It's a
mad.
good name, bro.
I wanted to be named Chris.
You wanted to be named
I
Chris.
was
And Chris is
so
so common
mad.
now.
I
Just
know,
imagine.
I know.
I hated my last name. I hated my last Bullard, Sean. Now I love it. I love that it's so unique, especially I know the origin of it. I'm happy that my name was Shawn, spelled S-H-A-W-N and not Sheen, S-E-A-N, as some people will say. So, yeah, man.
So back on task though.
Yeah.
Your calves no longer shake when you
My
run.
calves no longer
right?
shake. Wherever you are, my calves no longer shake.
Can you please find this man and, just build him up, apologize or something, please. But
No, I appreciate her for that moment.
truly, so you started getting into athletics. And at what point did you become a what did you call it,
Four-way athlete.
four-way athlete? Was this in high school, prior to high school?
It was in grade school, then the high school. In high school, so me being a chubby kid, I remember he's a good friend of mine, like a play cousin.
Yeah.
He put a football in my hand.
Okay.
And I started doing little league at Ivy Hill Saints. And I was a guard. I was an O lineman for Ivy, so that's how fat I was.
Okay. Wow.
And
When did you become good?
And I became good like once I started to get to high school.
Okay.
So I went from that kid to 8th grade dance, having all the girls and me in sunglasses and the now I'm athletic.
Started coming into yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I got so that was
What position did you land in?
strong safety and wide receiver.
Okay.
So
you went to Temple University on a football scholarship?
So not right away. So
Really?
No. My first love was martial arts.
Okay.
So I became a black belt in Taekwondo. And then when I got to high school, I was still doing martial arts, and it was football, track. I later became All-American in 110 in the 60-meter hurdles, and it was basketball, And then
Your shaky calf happened self on All-American?
with All-American, bro. And one of the best things, I got a great story just to tell people, one of the best things that ever happened to me, is, and this is about life as well, just because you can do a lot of things don't mean you should. So, yes, I was a four-way athlete, and I was good at all those things, but what was I, I was like on the front page of the Enquirer. Shawn Bullard wins races in his spare time. I would literally win the Catholic League indoor hurdle meet, and then on a Friday night meet, and then at 8 in the morning, I'm up going to play Father Judge in basketball.
Wow.
Like, that was me.
So no stranger to hard work, clearly.
Yeah, no stranger to hard work or whatever, determination, belief. But one of the things it taught me, and what I tell people out there today is, just because you can do something don't mean you should.
Okay.
And my track coach, Coach Poise, who's a legendary coach, one day he came to me my senior year. I did this 4 years straight. Senior year, and was like, listen, you're fifth to coming off the bench on basketball. You're probably going to go to college D1 for football, even though I didn't because of my grades. I didn't get the scholarship that I didn't want.
Wow.
But he was like, on track, we can become All-American and win the title if you just put all of your effort in the track.
Okay.
You're the sixth man off the bench, but you're my All-American hurdle over here.
Gotcha.
And this is right before, he kind of hated on the basketball coach. My basketball coach didn't know he did this. And I went to the bathroom and I cried my eyes out.
Wow.
Because I knew he was right. And that was one of the first times that somebody was just honest with you and gave you the cold, hard truth about yourself and what you can be. And a lot of people lie to themselves. A lot of people that do love you might be scared to give you that truth or whatever. But Coach Poise just went right forward. Like, you might hate me after this, but this is going to benefit you. And that year, I quit basketball that day. And that year, we went on to be All-American in the 4x2 indoor meet at Ohio State University. We placed fifth out of every relay in the country. I went on to be All-American in in the hurdles that year. We won states in the 4x2, going up against Glen Mills, Roman Catholic, Chester. So we had a great run. And that taught me a great message about life. Just being honest with yourself, not spreading yourself too thin, which everybody wants to do. They want to do A, B, and C instead of just honing in on A and honing in on B. And not understand. You hear this like Steve Jobs, or God rest, rip Steve Jobs, but Mark Zuckerberg. He did Facebook until Facebook was worth billions, and then he started doing Meta and doing other things.
So, I mean, obviously you've still continued to have success in your life. This is not the Al Bundy story where we're talking about, our poke high.
Yeah, man, I tell
but
all the time, people are like, yeah, my best life was in high school. I'm like, you didn't live in life.
So, four-way athlete, you're on the football team, but you're not on a scholarship.
Not on a scholarship. So I went to Johnson C. Smith my first year.
Where is that?
That's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So
Okay.
I went back, going to a black college.
HBCU?
Yeah.
All right.
And I went down there and got chilling with my people or whatever, and being the guy that I am and tough and standing up. I went down there, I got stabbed 5 times. I was in a little altercation with like 8 guys.
First of all, stabbed 5 times, 8 guys is not a little altercation.
It's not a little altercation,
so
man. I never backed down from anyone, and I was actually whooping their ass, to be honest with you. But,
we got to monetize this.
Well, is ass
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think ass is a bad word.
All right, we'll bleep you out
All
in
right,
the future.
I was getting the best of them, and and I got just to let you know my journey.
Yes.
I got stabbed 5 times, and I didn't even know I was even stabbed until one of my friends, my back felt funny.
Adrenaline.
And, and went back for another semester. Didn't snitch on the guys or whatever that I knew. And I literally didn't do anything wrong. It was just guys just over a heated argument.
You guys had a fight, somebody pulled out a knife, unfortunately you took the worst end of that.
Absolutely. And after I proved my point, and went back for another semester, I said, you know what, man, I got to get out of here. You know what I mean? I had bigger dreams, aspirations than being there. And so I was a dropout at that point. Yeah.
Wow.
I was a dropout at that point. Temple didn't even accept me. So next thing you know, for like this winter semester of 2000, working at a company called NCO Financial, was a bill collecting agency. And at NCO Financial...
I remember them.
You remember them?
Of course I do.
You remember them?
Yes.
And NCO Financial was very interesting. It was nothing but like ex-cons and strippers that wanted to get like money on the books so they can have like a legal like pay stubs or whatever to show their money. But there I learned business discipline. I learned how to sell, because you had to be able to sell to get the money from the people that owed. And we had to work 40 hours a week, mandatory, from Monday to Thursday.
Wow. And
then weekends, the last 2 weekends of every month was mandatory. And it was just like, this isn't for me, but I learned a lot. After that point, I wanted to get back into school. So I went to sign up to go to Temple. They denied me again.
Wow.
But by the grace of God, one of the ladies that went to my church, she was in the missions office, and she told them basically like, Shawn Bullard can do this work. You guys are letting all these white kids in.
Wow.
But Shawn Bullard can do this work. And they let me in on a probationary period, and I had to prove myself. And at that point, I was working with my mom, working out in the gym, and I knew I was going to walk on to football.
And you're a sophomore or junior at this point?
At this point, I'm a sophomore.
Okay.
I'm a sophomore.
So you came on, you tried out for the team.
Tried out for the team. I'm the guy last name on the totem pole. Last, I'm basically a crash dummy for all the starters.
I never knew this, by the way.
You never knew, yeah.
Because I only know you to be balling out.
Balling out, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm holding the bag, getting hit, telling, hey, go over there. And the whole time in my head, I'm like, wait, I'm coming. And, I blew up that year.
In what position?
Strong safety.
Okay.
Strong safety.
So you went from crash test dummy to starter?
Not starter, because I had an all Big East player in front of me, but I started basically taking the positions of the blue chip scholarship athletes.
Nice.
And once you start doing that, that's when you know, like, all right, they starting to see me.
It's going in the right direction.
Yeah, coaches getting yelled at, like, why are you putting him in and not me, and things of that sort. So everything is going well, and then it happened. We were playing West Virginia, and Lofton, God rest in peace, he actually passed away, but he went down. They put me in instead of a fifth-year senior. And it was a dirty play by the fullback. He did something called a cut block, a chop block, which you just go straight for your leg, and I broke my femur.
Snapped it in half.
Snapped it in half. Like, snapped it in half. So, you do all of that to get to that point, and then now, you are, you're left with another hurdle to overcome in life.
How old are you?
At this time, I'm probably like 20 years old.
You're 20 years old.
20 years old.
You're now, balling at Temple.
Balling at Temple, making a name for myself.
Probably on the radar of some NFL scouts already at this point.
Absolutely,
And you have a career-ending injury. That's a career ender.
Yeah, it is. I didn't let it in my career, but you're now damaged goods.
Absolutely.
It ended my pro career before it even started.
Yeah.
But just being resilient, I always was just like, how can I come back? I actually came back in 9 months, worked my way back up. And at that time, my father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Yeah. He was basically dying, but he didn't want his two boys to know that. My mom and him knew. And
how old was he?
He was young, 61. He was a 61-year-old, didn't smoke, didn't drink.
Listen, we know we've got that in common. My dad was 57.
57.
Didn't smoke, didn't drink.
So like, everybody has a push start.
This is a touch.
The Roma has basically a screen start. So you put your foot on the brake, and you can even just slide your finger across that. And if you do it again, it'll start.
This is ridiculous. Oh my God.
So there's a lot of technology in this car. Ferrari made this for like drivers like me, young enthusiasts. It's not the normal interior of a normal Ferrari. It's a lot of tech. Even in the passenger seat, the passenger has a whole screen that they can get a driving experience along with the driver as well. So it's cool. It's a 4-seater. It's really like a 2-seater, but it's a 4-seater for, you have a baby, or you just for like a little suitcase to go in the back.
Or you have a teacup Yorkie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 4-seater if you have 2 teacup Yorkies you want to carry around.
Yeah. Came back in 9 months, worked my way back. I learned politics at that point in time. They brought in all these players and things of that sort. This whole time, the point I'm making, this whole time, without even knowing, I'm learning about business, I'm learning about life and what to expect. That was my first time understanding politics. So at that point, because I don't know any better, I don't accept no for an answer. I still see a pro career, but I see that pro career is short. No matter if it's 1 year or if it's 12 years, it's not for the rest of your life. So at 20 years old, I started to feel like I need something that's going to let me be rich and wealthy that I have total control over, and football isn't it. And at that moment, that's when I started to look other ways. I came back 9 months, I balled out, became a standout football player there at Temple. But I started to look for business aspects. And I ran into Robert Kiyosaki, and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it changed my life.
All right, so now we're into real estate development. Okay?
Thanks.
And here's what we want to know. We want to know how to get to where you are. All right. That's ultimately what anybody wants to know. And this is where we really start separating wills and wealth from every other show. Right? We got that we want to be ambitious. Understood. Got it. Got to have some drive, get after it, never give up, all of these things. How do we get to where you are today? If I want to get started, okay, what do I need to do?
First of all, if you want to get started, you got to learn your craft.
Okay.
You got to learn your craft. You got to become one of the best in your space.
What does that mean?
Becoming one of the best in your space is you can't cut corners, you can't skip. You got to give a superior product for a lesser price.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that price is going to be cheap, but if I build an apartment and it's a cookie cutter, standard white cabinets, Home Depot type quality, a little bit better, I'm going to give you the W Hotel for that same price.
So if I'm starting for the first time, and it's fair to say that you're not really doing rehabs necessarily, you're building yours from the ground up.
I'm building my new construction.
Okay. Is that something that I should get into if I don't really have any experience, or would you recommend that I start with a couple of rehabs first?
I recommend starting with a couple of rehabs first. People think new construction is easier. It's not necessarily. It's actually harder. It's more paperwork than rehabs. With advice for rehabs is go into a rehab understanding that you need to budget as if you're going to tear everything out.
Okay.
Where people run into problems with rehabs is they go in feeling like, okay, this is a rehab, so I don't need to worry about what's behind the wall. I don't need to worry about this or that. Or the ceiling is already existing. So you need to budget yourself as if you got to take that ceiling down and rip that wall out and take those pipes out. You got to budget yourself as if the existing electrical wire that's in needs to be ripped out, needs to come out. And that's the biggest problem or issue that people run into. When I did rehabs, I would go into it and I would budget as if I had to take everything out. And when you do that, it lets you know if you should even be buying that property or not. Because when in real estate, which everybody wants to get into, you have to work yourself back on the numbers. So if a property's worth $500,000, you're buying it. If it's worth, first of all, you gotta understand how much it's worth. And the only way you're gonna understand how much it's worth is by knowing how much it's gonna produce, income-wise.
Okay.
That's number one for me, because mostly all my stuff is investment properties. I own about 200 units. I have a very sizable portfolio, and I still house hack and live in one of my 4 units. And even with the Roma, I park it, somewhere else. So I'm all in on the growth of my business. And with rehabs, when I did do rehabs, and once in a while I would say this property is worth $500,000 once it's done, because it makes X, Y, and Z on the rent. I'm buying it, this is old numbers though. Like if I'm buying it for $100,000 and it needs $200,000 worth of work, okay, I fall into that range, which is called a LTV. Now, LTV is loan to cost value, okay? And a bank is only going to give you 70% of the LTV. Well, why 70%? Because that 30%, a bank needs cushion. Because right now we're in a recession. So it might be worth 500 today, but in a recession now it's only worth 420.
Yeah.
So they need that cushion to make them feel good. So once you learn how much something is worth, you know how much you're going to buy it for. Now you know how much you can put into it. So back again, if it's worth 5, I'm buying it for 100,000. Then and they're giving me 70% of 500, that's 350, I know I have $250,000 to fix it up.
Got it.
Those things, that simple formula is what has me doing $20 million deals now.
Nice.
So it's the same thing over and over again.
How many rehabs should I do before I get into, ground up construction?
Well, this is the
new
thing.
construction.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, it's not how many you should do.
We see the glamorous side. Ferrari Romas come with that. What are some of the downsides?
You go through all of this to become the man. At that same time, you become a target. I had a woman that I thought was a friend of mine that just basically slandered and said basically that I assaulted her sexually.